Hello everyone and welcome back to One Man Stream. Just want to take a quick moment to say hope everyone had happy holidays and a happy new year. And I learned a few years back that the One Man Stream channel isn't quite large enough to compete with the holidays. So that's the reason why I've gone a little while without putting out a new tutorial. So we're going to create a new UTC setup. And this setup that you see right now, this is the one that I've been using for boxing and MMA for many years. And you can see where I'm pointing at right here. There's a lot of information that I have to change between fights. And sometimes it gets very cumbersome. And I'll just be honest, there's times that I forget to do things, or I'll look up and I have the wrong round indicated. Just like everyone else that does this, you want to try to be perfect every time out. You never attain that. It's almost impossible, but you try to be perfect. And if you can streamline things and make your layout easier for you, then it's just going to make your production so much nicer and so much easier. So that's going to be the focus of today's tutorial, a new UTC setup. And believe it or not, it's One Man Stream episode 116. I did a tutorial series, it's probably almost a year ago now, and it was called Changing Your Entire Setup with One Click. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing, except this time we're going to be doing it for our boxing and MMA production. But you can actually set this up or use the techniques that I'm going to teach you within this tutorial and the next tutorials to come to show you how to facilitate or how to streamline making your production easier. So this right here is the layout that if you've been following this channel for very long at all, you've probably seen me do in several tutorials. And if you look here at the very top, I have a fighter matchup, and then I use an Excel spreadsheet to shuffle through that spreadsheet to choose what fighters are coming up for the next fight. And then I also have one set up for a solo graphic for that particular fighter and his statistics. And then I have a pre-fight splash that you've seen me do before. And then I also have the lower third that we use during the MMA or boxing production that we put on the bottom that has the fighters' names, and it has the round, and it has the time. The information that we get for the time comes from right here. This is the round information. And then over here is where I have the different graphics that I fire off throughout the production. Like I said, this has become pretty cumbersome, so I've come up with a new layout. And this is what the new vMix UTC boxing and MMA setup looks like. And it's actually much simpler to use. As you can see right here, we are focused on fight one, which is what's highlighted in this area right here. And these are the two combatants, Aaron, and this gentleman right here. This is the round that we're currently in. This says 1 of 3. This is the weight type, and this right here is the round timer. Now you can see through here I have FT1. This is fight 1, fight 2, and I have it set up for as many as 30 fights. If I click on here to fight 2, you can see where all that information changes. Fight 2 is showed here. Now it shows the two combatants. This is a 5-round fight, 125-pound class, and it's going to be 3-minute rounds as well. Let's go to fight 3. This is fight 3. This is 1 of 3 again. This is a 145-pound fight, and again we're at 3-minute rounds. So let's go ahead and we can look at a few things. And you can see right here, this is a new round timer that we have. And I'm thinking about putting together a complete package that's going to have the spreadsheet along with all the graphics, and I'll have that available after we finish up a couple tutorials here in the One Man Stream online store. As you can see right here, this is just kind of a tease. This is what's going to come in right after one fight ends and the next fight's about ready to start. It's going to show the two combatants, it's going to show their gyms, and it's going to show their record. And this right here is what I was talking about. This is the new lower third that I have. You can see here this reflects the red fighter, and this over here reflects the blue fighter. Where does all this information come from? Well, this information is going to come from right here. And this is the data source that we've imported into our vMix production. Now, I'm going to go back to this grid right here. This is what I'm going to be operating, but we're going to go back to the data source, and you'll see when I punch on these different buttons how it's going to go up and down in that data source. So let's go back to the data source. This is actually obtained through the data source manager in vMix. Let's go click on Fight 1. And you can see where it goes up here to Fight 1. Well, I have a button that I didn't show you yet, so we'll have to go back to this. I have two buttons here. This button here says next round, and this button here says previous round. So you can see right here where it shows round 1 of 3. Well, what happens when we want to go to the next round? Well, all we have to do when we want to go to the next round is we'll hit this next round button right here. So let's go ahead and reset the timer. And then let's hit next round. And you'll see where it goes to round 2 of 3. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put previous round to take it back. And I'm going to bring this in, and you can see right over here where it says round 1 of 3. Well, I'm going to hit that next round button again, and you can see where it goes to round 2 of 3. Let's say that round is over. We want to go to the next round. Boom. We click this, and we go to round 3 of 3. You can see how much easier this is. I'm not having to click all those different fields and change all that information. It's going to make it very handy, and it's going to make it a huge time saver for me. Well, this information right here, where does it come from? This information comes from a spreadsheet that I created. And like I said earlier, I did a 5-part tutorial series on how to change your complete production with just a couple clicks. And that is basically what we're doing. We're building upon that for this new vMix UTC setup that I have. Okay, so this is the very top of the spreadsheet. And you can see where we have these highlighted colored areas here. These reflect drop-down menus. So if I want to change this fighter, say it's not Aaron Allen, say it's another fighter. Let's say it's this fella right here. Say we'll click on that. And you can see where all that information changes. The record changed, the fighter gem changed, and the fighter name changed. This is because we're using a data validation feature in order to formulate these lists. And I'm going to go ahead and put it back before I go any further, and you can see where all that information goes back. And so what I do is I have a tab that's nothing but fighters. And I've just started this, so I haven't filled out a whole lot of the information, but I've left a lot of room here for about 2,000 fighters. And as I do the events, I'll go in and I'll put this information in. Once I have this information in, it's going to stay. There's a cool little feature, and I left it like this for a reason. You can see right here that this fighter, his age is 25. But with the Excel, if I click on the control button and click on the semicolon, it's going to display the current date. Now what I do is I have a function in here, and it's this right here. What it does is it looks at today's date, it looks at the fighter's birth date, and then it brings in the fighter's age. So I'll be able to do that for each one of the fighters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to do what it says over here in the notes. I'm going to hit Control plus semicolon, and when I do that, it changes to today's date. And you can see where it changed the fighter's age from 24 to 25. So that's going to be very handy going forward. Right here is a list of sponsors. And the reason I have this list of sponsors is on this main sheet all the way over here at the end, with some of the promotions I do, they have a particular sponsor for each one of the bouts. And I don't want to have to change that on fight day either. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and put the particular fight, the particular sponsor image in here for fight sponsor. And then when I'm bringing up the graphics associated with that particular bout, it's going to go ahead and bring up that sponsor for me as well. The next page is vMix data, and this is what I'm using to bring in the different pieces of information for data validation. You can see here all the different rounds that I have set up. You can adjust this and do with it whatever you want. And in some upcoming tutorials, I'll show you how to do that. This is the fight number. I have this one set up for 1 to 30, and then I have the bout types. So you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll over here, and the information that we have coming in, we have the red fighter, we have the red fighter gem, we have the red fighter record, and then we bring in the blue fighter. You can see where this has a background color to this particular cell, and you can see that yes, this is a drop-down menu as well. This has all the fighters in there. You can choose what you want. Actually, it has all the fighters for blue and red, so if you needed to change it quickly on the fly, you would be able to do that as well. As we continue to go over to the right, you can see where you have blue fighter gem, we have blue fighter record, and then this is where the round information comes in. These are actually drop-down menus as well, and you can see where all that information came in from that tab that had vMix data. So these I do have to set up for each particular fight, but for the weight class, if I wanted to change this, I wanted to change this to a light heavyweight, if I clicked on this, you can see where all that information changes. It makes it very quick. I don't have to do each individual one of these cells. I have it set up on the spreadsheet where after I make the drop-down menu selection, it changes the rest of them for me as well. Now, I said earlier for this particular package, I have made some new graphics for it. If I go to my new UTC production right here and I click on Start Round, I'll show you what happens. Okay, so we click on Start Round and you can see where it brings in the lower third. You can see the red fighter and blue fighter. You can see the clock is counting down and you can see where it says round 1 of 3. Now this is going to count down, I think, for about 20 seconds, and then it's going to bring in the small timer. And this is also a new graphic that I put together for 2025 and brings in the small timer. You can see where it has the 2 fighters. You can see where it still has the countdown timer and the round indicator. Then there's also a little spot available there for a sponsor logo. And then this is going to count all the way down to 0. And when it counts all the way down to 0, it's going to get rid of this and it's going to bring in a corner bug. And you can see where that goes away and the corner bug comes in. So that is what happens each time we hit that start round. Now, in between rounds, what we'd want to do is we'd want to go over to our vMix UTC, and all we have to do now is we have to hit this next round button. We hit the next round button. You can see where that changes from round 1 of 3 to 2 of 3. All the other information stays the same. We click Start Round again. You can see where it takes all those items out, brings them back in. It brings in the graphic again, and you can see now where it reflects round 2 of 3. So that's how easy it is to change between rounds. And then also by using this right up here, we can change between fights. And I showed you how to do that a little bit earlier. So this is going to be kind of a little bit of a journey here with this new setup. I'll go ahead and show you the other graphics that I have that I've created along with this new setup. This is right here, and I just finished this today and I haven't had a chance to put in the animations yet. But this right here is going to be our new matchup graphic, which starts off this particular fight. I showed you the other one that's kind of a tease before the fight and between fights, but this is what we use once we've segued from one fight to the next. And like I said, I don't have any animations built into this, but I will, so it'll look a lot more interesting when we do the tutorial on it. But this is probably going to be the next tutorial, and I'm going to show you how to build this graphic right here. You notice right over here we have a little red line and a little blue line. That's an indicator to let you know which side is red fighter and which side is blue fighter. After that tutorial, the next one that we'll do, we'll dive into how to create this spreadsheet, and more than likely I'll have a link to this spreadsheet in the description of the tutorial, so you'll be able to download this. But we're going to go over step by step how this was built and the different functionality, the different Excel functionality that we have built into this with the drop down menus, and then with our old friend vlookup. Once we make that selection, vlookup is what we utilize in order to bring in the other bits of information. And just real quickly, I'm going to show you the fights again. This information where we have age, height, gem, record, and weight. That is actually what is being brought in to this graphic right here, and this sheet is where that information is being brought in. The way that you do this is we'll bring this Excel spreadsheet in as a data source. I've showed you how to do that before, but we'll go over that again. So we'll bring that in as a data source, and then I'll show you how to map your graphic to the data source within vMix. So we have a whole lot coming up. It's probably going to be at least a 2 or 3 part tutorial series. By the end of it, you'll have a complete boxing or MMA layout that you can use going forward in your productions. Hope you found this glimpse into our new project and our upcoming tutorial series enlightening, and I hope you find it interesting, and I hope you'll follow along as we continue to put these tutorials together for this boxing MMA series. Once again, this was One Man Stream episode 116, creating a new UTC setup, and it's going to be much easier, much more streamlined, and it's going to be much simpler for you to use on production day. I want to say thank you for those that are following the One Man Stream channel. If you get a chance, please do stop by our online store, onemanstream.com. That's where we have many of the graphics that we've created throughout this series, along with many of the vMix UTC controllers as well. The items are just a few dollars a piece, but it is a way that you can help out and support One Man Stream. As always, thank you so much.